Story number 1.
Liam works on a dairy farm in Australia. Every morning he opens the gate and leads the herd of cows to the milking area. But today, something goes wrong. One cow pushes against the fence and finds a small hole. Suddenly, she escapes and runs into the field. Liam grabs a rope and runs after the cow. She is fast, but Liam knows she will stop if she sees food. He slowly walks towards her with some hay. The cow looks at him and stops. Carefully, Liam puts the rope around her neck and leads her back to the dairy farm. The cow is safe, and Liam fixes the fence so it doesn't happen again.
Story number 2.
Emily was born and raised on a dairy farm in rural Australia. Growing up, she watched her father work with the cows every day, moving them from the paddocks to the milking shed. She knew the basics, but her father had always done the heavy lifting when it came to herding the cows, and Emily never got the chance to learn the ropes herself. That was about to change. One sunny morning, Emily's father called her over to the shed.
Emily, today's your day. I'm going to teach you how to get the cows from the paddock and bring them to the milking shed. You're going to need the motorbike and Jake to help you.
Emily's eyes widened with excitement. She had seen her father use the motorbike and his dog, Jake, to herd the cows, but she had never been the one in control.
Are you sure I'm ready?
She asked. Her father chuckled.
You're ready, love. Just follow Jake's lead and keep the bike steady. You'll do fine.
Emily nodded, though a little nervous. She hopped onto the motorbike and followed her father out to the paddock, where the cows were grazing peacefully. Jake, a border collie with boundless energy, stood by, ready for action.
All right, Emily.
Her father said. With a deep breath, Emily revved the motorbike and slowly drove toward the cows. Jake immediately took off, running in circles around the herd, barking and guiding them in the right direction. The cows started moving, but one of them, a large brown cow, seemed to hesitate. It wasn't as eager to leave the paddock as the others. Emily guided the motorbike closer, trying to herd the stubborn cow with the bike. But the cow, sensing something was off, suddenly turned and charged straight at Jake. The dog darted out of the way just in time, but the cow was now angry, stamping its hooves and trying to push Jake away. Jake barked loudly, trying to keep the cow at bay, but the cow was stronger and determined to stay. Emily realized she needed to step in.
Jake, move!
Emily shouted as she quickly dismounted from the motorbike. She ran toward Jake and the cow, trying to get between them. She used her body to guide the cow away from Jake, pushing it in the direction of the gate. It took some effort, but Emily was determined. Slowly, the cow started to turn around, following the rest of the herd. With Jake at her side and her confidence growing, Emily carefully led the cow through the gate and back into the milking area. Her father watched from a distance, smiling proudly.
You handled that like a pro. Well done, Emily.
Emily grinned, feeling a rush of accomplishment. She had done it. She had worked with Jake and the motorbike to herd the cows. The whole experience had been challenging, but it was a moment she would never forget. As the sun began to set, Emily and Jake stood together at the gate, watching the herd settle into the milking shed. It had been a tough day, but Emily felt ready for whatever came next on the farm.
Story number 3.
Mateo, a 25-year-old from Argentina, had just arrived in Australia on a work and holiday visa. Excited for the adventure, he had landed a job at a dairy farm in the countryside. Back in Argentina, he had grown up in the city, so farming was new to him. His first task, feeding the calves. On his first morning, Mateo was given the responsibility of filling the bottles with milk and feeding the young calves. He thought it would be an easy job. Just give them their milk, and they'd be fine, right? But as soon as he stepped into the calf barn, he realized it wasn't as simple as it seemed.
Bueno, vamos a ver qué tal.
Mateo mumbled to himself as he grabbed the first bottle of milk and walked over to the calves. They were all lined up eagerly, waiting for their food. He smiled, feeling confident as he started feeding them one by one. However, things took an unexpected turn. As soon as some calves finished drinking, they started pushing the others who were still feeding. Matteo had no idea that the calves could be so aggressive. They were shoving each other, trying to get to the feeders and steal milk from those still drinking.
Che, tranquilo.
Matteo said, trying to calm the calves. He quickly realized that he couldn't just stand there and let them fight. He had to step in and separate them. He gently pushed one of the finished calves away from the feeder, but it didn't stop there. The others were just as determined. Every time Matteo pushed one out of the way, another calf tried to squeeze in. The calves were strong, and Matteo was getting tired of moving them around.
¿Qué hago ahora?
Matteo thought. He quickly adjusted his strategy. Instead of just pushing, he began to walk around the barn, moving from calf to calf, making sure that each one had enough space to finish its milk. Some calves were more stubborn than others, and Matteo had to guide them out of the way, using his body to block them and keep order. It was tiring work, but Matteo felt a sense of achievement as he watched the calves finish their milk peacefully. Once they were all done, he stood back, wiping the sweat from his forehead. The barn was quiet again, and the calves were content.
Well, that wasn't as easy as I thought.
Matteo said with a smile, feeling proud of how he handled the situation. As he walked back to the main barn, he thought about how much he had learned in just a few hours. Feeding the calves wasn't just about filling bottles. It was about managing the chaos and making sure each calf got its fair share. Matteo knew there would be more challenges ahead, but for now, he was ready for whatever came next on the farm.
Story number 4.
Maria, Filipina on a working holiday visa, had just landed in Melbourne, ready to start fresh. She'd found a job as a housekeeper at a big university. Not glamorous, but steady. At first, she thought, how hard can it be? Just clean up some rooms, right? But mate, she was wrong. Every morning, she had to push this massive cleaning trolley down endless hallways. The students' rooms were a whole new level of messy. Some were covered in pizza boxes, others had clothes everywhere, and one girl had even covered up all her windows with aluminium foil, like she was trying to block out aliens or something. After a few weeks, Maria was knackered. Still, she did her best. She needed the job. But after long hours and barely any breaks, her body started aching. She'd sit in the storage room with her mop and think, maybe this job's not for me. She started doubting herself. One day, her supervisor asked her to take on another double shift. Again. That was it. Maria took a deep breath, looked at her reflection in the cleaning cart mirror and said, enough. I deserve better. She didn't quit right away though. She started asking around, talking to friends, checking job boards. And one of her mates told her, Oi, there's a hotel looking for housekeeping staff. Better pay, steady hours. You should give it a go. So Maria made the move. Same mop, same bucket, but a whole new vibe. A week later, she started at a hotel in the city, and wow, it was completely different. The managers respected the schedules, the rooms were smaller, and the guests? Well, some were messy, sure, but at least they didn't leave spaghetti on the walls. Here, Maria finally found her rhythm. The pace was calmer, the staff were friendlier, and she even joined a bed-making challenge the hotel ran every month. Guess what? She won! Her bed looked so neat and crisp that even the manager said, "That's a bloody good job, Maria." That night, while watching the sunset from the tram back home, Maria smiled. Every day felt lighter. She was still tired, but this time, proud tired. The kind that makes you feel like you're doing something right. And that's how Maria learned one of life's biggest lessons. Sometimes it's not about quitting. It's about finding where you belong.